Have you or your company recently discovered the presence of an anomalous space located on the premises of your building? Well, if you own the building, you may be wondering, how can this raise the property value or the value of my business? I'm so glad you asked. Here at VCR Restoration, we've got all the answers you could need. Now, these spaces are often described as a horrifying near-infinite pocket dimension. Infinite space sounds like a chance for infinite growth. Some economists, mostly cowards, say there has to be a point where the exploitation of your resources will cap your potential profits. But what if you have unlimited resources? Then the only thing limiting you is your imagination. But how can you tap into that potential? Well, in our step-by-step guide, we'll walk you through everything you need to know in order to go from this to this. All you need to do is mail a check made out to VCR Restoration for $9.99 to 1661 Miller Park Way, and we'll mail you your very own set of tapes. Now that's what I call a backroom deal. Alternatively, if you have broadband or dial-up, you can enter the web address below into your internet browser and order online. But don't worry, while this tape isn't as deep of an exploration as you'll get in the full box set, we're still going to give you plenty of insight, tips, and tricks on the promotional tape. Let's start with what we're dealing with. There's no definitive scientific conclusion at this point in time on what exactly this space is. What we want to look at is how we can bring this to the forefront of your business. Let's think of this as a collaborative effort. We've got suggestions for you on what you can do, but ultimately, you know your business best. So let's get those ideas flowing. When I tell you that you suddenly have infinite real estate inside of your business, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Great idea. Now, let me bounce an idea back at you. I'm thinking of a technological step forward, the next big thing in business, if you will. It might take a lot of energy and space, but it's at the center of everyone's minds. That's right, call centers. While phone reception is often spotty inside of this space, running a substantial landline capable of handling the capacity of your current and future employees could be a simple solution to this problem. The other benefit is due to the lack of windows, your employees won't have anything to distract them from their productivity. Now ultimately, the best use of this space will be one that leverages your current resources and parts of your businesses that can scale effectively. So keep that in mind, and we'll come back to that on tape 5. On this demo tape, we'll mainly be looking at what you need to get started. What tools will you need? Of course, safety comes first. You may think OSHA can't see what happens outside of the known reality, but you'd be wrong. Keep your workers safe with safety glasses, hard hats, and steel-toed shoes. Disposable coveralls, respirators, and hazmat suits may be needed, but are not necessary to get started. Keep in mind OSHA bathroom requirements, and note that requirements will scale as your operation does. There are few hand tools you'll find more valuable than the trusty sledgehammer. Sledge? How do you say that word? Sledgehammer? Oh, it's a typo. They typed it in wrong. There are few hand tools you'll find more valuable than the trusty sledgehammer and a wrecking bar, at least 24 inches for that destructive leverage. Utility knives, flat shovels, and wheelbarrows will be additionally useful for the removal of debris and other materials. Dealing with theoretical infinite space, you're going to want to tap into some power by keeping these power tools stocked. Angle grinders, reciprocating saws, circular saws, and oscillating tools should be able to destroy anything impeding your path. Additionally, a multimeter is recommended in case you run into any wall outlets. This can be used to test the current on any open terminals. Construction. What are these spaces constructed out of? Well, they seem to mirror our reality in many ways. We're talking about good old American materials like carpeting, wallpaper, drywall, and lights. While the specific materials aren't always fully understood, is that really important? Do you know exactly what your home is made out of? You don't have to. You just have to know how to tear out the stuff you don't like and keep the rest. If you encounter anything especially abnormal, please call our helpline that's listed on tape 1 of the box set. As far as examples have been observed, most of these spaces seem to have come into existence around the 1950s at the earliest, given the materials present within. There seems to be a distinct lack of plaster and lath finishing for walls, and these acoustic ceiling tiles were brought into prominence after the Second World War. Speaking of the ceiling tiles, acoustic tiles are very commonly found in both 2 foot by 2 foot and 2 foot by 4 foot sizings. These drop ceilings are set on a metal grid, and it's worth noting that there is a gap between this space and the actual ceiling, as long as there is an actual ceiling within the space. It's important when entering a new space to ensure that you check what is above your ceiling tiles. This could prove very important later on. Wallpaper and carpeting are also very frequently found within these spaces. Take caution when it comes to removing these materials. Don't tear them out recklessly, avoid it unless it's absolutely necessary, or you're going to find yourself in deep trouble. When you're dealing with these materials, you need to keep continuous runs in mind. Try to change wallpaper at corners where it either isn't noticeable or seems intentional. Carpeting is tricky, as you'd want to change it ideally between rooms, making the change at the threshold of the door. That way materials are transitioning smoothly from room to room. However, you may find yourself among very large open spaces where there's no clear transition anytime soon. If you want to change things up, you may be able to tear out carpeting in a clean, linear manner. Then add in additional flooring and marry the two together using a vinyl transition strip. Keep in mind where your walls are and what you'll be putting on top of each material. Sometimes you'll have to remove sections of carpeting due to unavoidable staining. In these instances, matching pre-existing carpeting is essential. We have a list of vendors we partner with who can help with seamless installation. More info can be found in tape 4 of the box set.
Carpet, hardwood, ceramic, and vinyl up to 50% off. Carpet prices starting at $6.99 a square yard. All in-stock vinyl reduced 50%. 12 months interest-free financing. Come see the largest selection of carpet.
If you do end up removing carpeting, keep in mind that it will most likely be commercial-grade, high-traffic, glue-down carpeting. This kind of carpeting is extra tough and will take some muscle to get off the ground. Additionally, once it's removed, there will be a thick, sticky residue left behind. Take caution around this, as it will greatly impede your workers' ability to move freely within the space, which could lead to unwanted delays or other more severe consequences. You may notice that in many of these spaces, the baseboard or base trim seems to be very odd. Sometimes it's wallpapered over or appears to have the same type of pattern as the walls. They're often too large and seem to be made of large slabs of wood. If this is the case, you may be able to repurpose these materials later. Either way, they're a distracting eyesore that is best replaced by Cove base molding. Sections entirely lacking baseboard should also be covered by base molding. For objects that are clipping through surfaces, you're going to want to get rid of those pesky eyesores. We recommend using an angle grinder for the larger objects and an oscillating tool for the smaller pieces to help cut and grind down the surface until it's smooth and flush with the rest of the wall. If you accidentally cut too deep, you can use mud or spackle to fill in the gaps, then sand down until the texture is smooth and constant across the surface. More info is provided on tape 3 of the box set. What trades will you need? What are going to be the major trades? Drywall installers and finishers are essential, as well as framers should you want to put in walls in large open spaces, and keep in mind that these walls may be steel framed, not just standard 2x4 stick framing. Plumbers are a trade that you may find yourself unexpectedly not in need of. Bathrooms are rarely observed in these spaces, and while the occasional stub out has been spotted, they're few and far between. If you do locate one, ensure adequate testing is performed, and be careful not to engage the pipe without a professional present, as locating a water shutoff valve is near impossible. Similarly, while there is often electricity present powering lights within spaces, as well as the presence of electrical outlets, they're best approached with extreme caution, as electrical panels, breakers, or any form of shutoff are rarely nearby. Skilled electricians may be able to trace the current back to its source with enough patience and minimal destruction. We recommend only undertaking this if absolutely necessary.
Corrosives, toxic materials, or those materials known to produce adverse effects on specific or target organ.
If you're not yet sold with all this information, allow us to give you some quick tips. Seemingly infinite pits? Fill them with debris from your worksite. No more need for meticulous disposal of hazardous waste or having to pay annoying dumpster fees. These and many more pieces of advice can be found on the complete box set, so consider ordering today. But for now, I'm going to thank our producers and say, I hope you'll have a and suggest more wonderful content from VCR Restoration for your enjoyment. Bye for now.